Hi, I'm Bridget.
And I'm Wayne.
We're from Sydney Fish Market.
Welcome.
We are going to be talking about our mussels, our vongole, or vongole, depending on how you like to pronounce it, and pipis. So, let's start with, what do you look for when you buy them?
Okay, how do we tell if they're alive? How do we tell if they're in good condition? Mostly your pipis, you'll see that they're actually still moving. You'll see the tongues coming out of the shell. You don't really want to be buying pipis when they're not alive, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure, if Bridget, you give it a little tap there, you should find that guy will close up or at least show some sign of life, so you want to look out for that.
And the reason, if these ones are a little bit sluggish, is that when we bought them this morning, they came up on ice, so they've actually got
That's
a little
right.
bit too cold. So when you're buying any of these, put them into the warmest part of the fridge if you want to refrigerate them, because the cold will actually just send them off to sleep.
That's correct. It slightly comatoses the animal, so it may still be quite fresh and alive, but just a little sluggish. So once he warms up, come good.
Yeah, so once they get to room temperature, they're fine.
That's right.
Now the same with the mussels, so if they're open, all you need to do is just give it a little tap like this, or just tap it on the bench, and you should just see it start to close up. The only ones you wouldn't use, and I've got a great example of this one, is broken shells.
That's right.
Any with broken shells.
There's contamination there.
Yeah, so
you're
chuck
best
this
to
one
throw
out.
that away.
Yep, so we throw that one out, but we do want them closed. And then the preparation, do you want to pull the beard off?
Well, this little area here, this is how the animal feeds. This is the beard, so you don't really want that. But once you do remove that, the animal will die. So if you're not planning on using them for a few hours, best to do it just before you cook. Hold the mussel and push the beard forward, and out it comes straight away, leaving a nice clean edge. You can clean these with a knife too, Bridget, just get the outsides cleaned up. This time of year, they're pretty good though.
Yeah, and you can also buy mussels that are already prepared. Beards off, already cleaned. An important part that Wayne pointed out before, make sure you hold the shell closed, because if you don't and you pull that beard out, you can actually pull half the mussel out as you go.
Not to mention, you can actually cut yourself too. It's quite sharp along the edge there, so just be careful of that one.
Yep, and if you do want to store them, as I said, you can put them in the warmest part of the fridge, or actually leave them on the bench and just cover them with a damp cloth. And these little numbers, often when people see them next to a pipi, they think it is a pipi until you see them side by side, and then obviously this one is a little bit smaller, and you may not be able to see, but it's got a grooved shell. So
That's
what
right.
happens there is it actually collects the grit in the shell, so you need to actually run it under cold water and rub them against each other, sort of.
Just break it up a little bit.
Yeah, just like this.
These are caught in the sand, so you do actually have a lot of sand grit on them and also in them. So it doesn't hurt, Bridget, just to soak them in water as well before you serve, maybe an hour or two, and they'll purge that sand that's inside the animal.
You can actually buy them purged, but it's always a good idea, I think, to purge them
Well,
yourself.
you never know, do you? It says purged. It depends how long they've been in the water as to how quickly they will. So just a couple of hours in nice cold water and you should find they're ready for use.
Yep, and then last thing, just rub them against each other and get that grit out, and I can just feel the grit coming off from my fingers. So yeah, it's quite noticeable, and it can ruin your dish, so you do want to do that before you start cooking.
That's right.
And then the cooking, pretty simple, pretty fast. It is usually much faster than people expect, don't you think?
That's right. People often do notice that their mussels, if your mussels are fresh and they're alive and one of them doesn't open, don't necessarily throw that away, because you can open it up and it should still be good inside. If the batch is good, the whole lot should generally be fine.
And the best way, if you're going to open it up, is take it away from your food that you've cooked.
That's right, yeah.
Just in case you've got a dud one. Put the tip of the knife in on the side and just twist it as though you're shucking an oyster. And then you can smell it, and if it smells and looks like all the others, it's safe to eat.
That's it. Let's bust that myth, can we?